When it comes to outstanding performance and unforgettable abilities, Johnny Depp is one of them, earning 10 Golden Globe Awards. But even stars have inspirations. Beyond acting, few other actors have transcended their profession extravagantly, and Depp could not help but recognize them.
Who's your first celebrity crush?
First celebrity crush, Carol Channing.
Oh, God.
What these people saw as just taking roles and getting their paycheck cashed, Johnny Depp saw as being exquisite.
An evening, Bob Downey, we've known one another for a million years, and
I like how you call Robert Downey Bob.
Yeah, we sort of came up the ranks together,
From their acting skill to how they slip into character, as well as how they relate with fellow actors, these are Johnny Depp's favorite actors. Try guessing. On number 7, we have Isaac Baruch. Isaac Baruch and Depp have been friends since they were teenagers. They met in Florida where they lived at the time. They were both playing for different bands and they had a mutual friend, so they got along easily. Sometimes along the line, Depp moved to California and Isaac moved to New York City.
Johnny emailed back saying, hey, when Isaac wants to sell that, to go ahead and get in touch with me because I want to buy it.
Isaac is known as Depp's best friend, and Depp has helped him in several ways. When Depp was arrested and taken to court for defamation against his ex-wife, Amber Heard, Baruch was called to testify in court. He testified for a couple of hours, giving colorful testimonies that drew smiles and laughter from others in the courtroom, including Depp and his ex-wife.
How do you know Mr. Depp?
I know him since teenagers. We met in Florida. Yeah, we hit it off. We got along with each other.
Baruch told the court that Mr. Depp supported him materially as he tried to build a career as a visual artist, arranging for him to live in the Eastern Columbia Building, an Art Deco building in Los Angeles owned by Johnny Depp. Their friendship, although it started because of a mutual friend, became one that was strong, to the envy of everybody, even those present in the court at the time of the trial. He defended Depp with so much passion, and at some point suggested they both tried to heal while he broke down in tears. Moving on, at number 6 spot, we have Nicolas Cage.
I was a musician, and I'd moved out to Los Angeles with my band. Nick Cage said, why don't you meet my agent, because I think you're an actor. I think you could be an actor.
Depp and Nicolas Cage met earlier in Depp's career when he, Depp, rented an apartment that belonged to Cage in Hollywood called Fontenoy. They were already friends before then, and Depp was merely trying to survive by selling pens or something to get by, Cage said. Before then, Depp was playing music in Florida in a band called The Kids. But when they broke up in 1980, Depp moved to Hollywood. There he was introduced to Nicolas Cage through his then-wife, Lori Ann Allison. As good friends, they played Monopoly together, and Depp was winning. Cage, on the other hand, was watching him. Then he said, "Why don't you try acting?" Depp was hesitant at first because he wanted to become a musician. He said no to Cage, but Cage refused to give in. He said to Depp again, "I think you can act." At that point, Depp was ready to meet anybody just to pay his bills. Cage then sent him to meet with his agent, Eileen Feldman.
And a friend of mine who happened to be an actor, Nicolas Cage, he sent me to his agent to, he said, "I think you should try acting."
Depp was sent out to read for a casting director named Annette Benson, who was casting for a film called A Nightmare on Elm Street. They brought him back to read for another director called Wes Craven, and somehow he got the job that day, even though he had no desire to become an actor. His only motivation was the incredible amount of money he was about to earn. In an interview with the New York Times Magazine in 2008, Cage called Depp an overnight success. Even though overnight sensations didn't happen, it happened with Depp. Depp kept acting from film to film until he was cast in a TV series called 21 Jump Street, though that was the beginning of success. Despite Cage not taking any credit for Depp, he guided him right into superstardom. This, Depp would never forget in a hurry. Due to Cage's spending habits and investment in many properties, he hit rock bottom in 2007 and 2008. According to a report in CNBC, Cage had squandered most of his million-dollar fortune, and he owed the IRS $6.3 million in property taxes. Longtime friend Johnny Depp showed up after he heard of Cage's financial troubles and offered to help. According to reports in 2009, Depp told Cage not to worry and that he would sort everything out. Depp felt he owed his career to Cage and wanted to repay him. Cage refused the aid and took up roles to pay his debt. Although Nicolas Cage and Johnny Depp have not featured in any movie together, Depp still sees him as one of his favorites and holds him in high esteem. When we talk about being held in high esteem, the next actor, Javier Bardem, coming in at number 5, is definitely one.
Out of all your co-stars, who's the best kisser?
Javier Bardem.
Javier Bardem and Johnny Depp have been friends for the longest time. They both starred in the movie Pirates of the Caribbean, and Depp even joked about kissing him on the lips, and even his wife. Their relationship is said to be a special one. During a press conference for the film in Shanghai, Depp said that Bardem played his character with so much rage, yet made it so touching. He also added that it was a wonderful gift to work with him. In 2000, Bardem starred as poet Reynaldo Arenas in Julian Schnabel's biopic Before Night Falls, and Depp played the dual supporting roles of Reynaldo's friend Bon Bon and the ominous Lieutenant Victor. In 2017, the pair met again, when Bardem's undead Captain Salazar faced off against Depp's Jack Sparrow in Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales. At his wife Penelope Cruz's star ceremony, Johnny Depp went there with Javier Bardem, and they had a good time laughing together. Speaking of having a good time together, we have Penelope Cruz on number 4.
Something for little Penelope to read. It's a pleasure to be here to celebrate this curious Spanish creature.
Penelope Cruz and Johnny Depp have been friends for over 20 years, and he has identified her as one of his favorites. This pair met on the set of Blue in the year 2000, and 3 years later, they worked together again on Pirates of the Caribbean. Ever since, their friendship has become stronger, such that in 2010, Depp lent his private island in the Bahamas to Penelope and her husband, Javier Bardem, to celebrate their wedding anniversary in privacy. Depp has attested to the fact that Penelope is a loyal and true friend that anyone could dream of during the Cruise Hollywood Walk of Fame ceremony in 2011. At the time Penelope Cruz came to Los Angeles, she knew only 2 English words, which were, "How are you?" and "I want to work with Johnny Depp." The link between the two is apparent, with Cruz speaking up for Depp during Amber Heard's defamation trial in 2022, and Depp looking out for her during her first pregnancy while filming Pirates of the Caribbean. The only problem they had was that Depp had a very particular sense of humor. Penelope attested to the fact that they had a few problems on set because she couldn't stop laughing. One time, they were stuck on a particular scene for 2 hours because they couldn't stop laughing. Many years have passed, and they have made only 3 movies together, but Depp still counts Penelope Cruz as a great friend. At number 3, we have none other than Angelina Jolie.
She's kind of a walking poem, Angelina. She's this perfect beauty.
Following the split from her husband, Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie found comfort in her friend Johnny Depp, and after they appeared in The Tourist together, they became good friends back in 2010. Johnny went as far as recommending his divorce lawyer, Laura Wasser, to Angelina. According to a source, Angelina idolized Depp for a long time, even before she worked with him on The Tourist, and ever since their friendship has become one of a kind. They have kept in touch ever since then and spoke regularly during the storm that surrounded Johnny's breakup with Amber. Depp became one of Angelina's biggest supporters and slammed the constant media scrutiny she faced as a result of the divorce. Despite mixed reactions, his support for her was unhindered, and he was enamored by her beauty and talent. He called her a walking poem and an embodiment of perfect beauty and talent. Angelina Jolie, on the other hand, called Depp a nice guy who was super fun to hang out with and a brilliant actor. On number 2, we have Jeff Beck.
There's a couple who very much helped to keep me alive and sane and happy through the weirdness, and that's Jeff and Sam.
Jeff Beck hit fame as a member of a rock band, the Yardbirds, and later the Jeff Beck Group. Ranked as one of the top 5 guitarists of all time by Rolling Stone, he became popular, earned 7 Grammys, and was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame twice, one as a member of the Yardbirds and another as a solo artist. Before Johnny Depp rose to fame in acting, he was an eager guitarist and featured on songs with the likes of Oasis, Iggy Pop, and Aerosmith. Jeff Beck, on the other hand, had several acting roles, including guest appearances in films and TV shows in movies like Twins, The Comic Strip Presents, Harry and Paul's Story of the Twos, and the like. This shared love of music and passion for the guitar is what brought Jeff and Depp together when they were introduced by mutual acquaintances in 2016. Even when they were separated by distance, they kept in touch, with Jeff in the UK and Depp in the US. Depp considered him a favorite and even released an album together, which they called E18. It is an extraordinary honor to play and write music with Jeff, one of the true greats, and someone I'm now privileged enough to call my brother, Depp said. They had a tight friendship, and they were so close. Sadly, Jeff grew ill in the winter of 2021, contracting meningitis. Johnny Depp visited him on several occasions and was with him even till his death. In honor of Jeff, Johnny Depp and other musicians had a special night of performance on what would have been his 80th birthday. Months before his death, they both toured to promote their album in July 2022, and Beck stated that he had not had another creative partner like Depp for ages. On number 1, we have Johnny Depp's favorite actor, Marlon Brando.
Marlon and I met over the phone because I wanted to do Don Juan DeMarco with him. And it was, we connected on many levels.
Marlon, I know you love Marlon and you
I worshipped him, yeah. And I still do.
Johnny Depp and Marlon Brando crossed paths in the 1990s and made a rather intriguing impression on one another. They collaborated on the romantic comedy drama Don Juan DeMarco alongside Faye Dunaway. After collaborating on the movie, they maintained a friendship wherein Brando mentored Depp. In an interview at the 2016 Santa Barbara International Film Festival, Depp said that his request to cast Brando opposite him was met with skepticism. The movie was key to him, and when he was asked who should play Doctor since they had other actors in mind, Depp mentioned Marlon Brando. They all laughed, but he didn't. Even though they kept saying Brando would refuse because he didn't care, Brando did care. During the interview, Depp was in the New York hotel when he got a note that said, "Marlon Brandon called at 9:37, hers is his number." Depp returned the call immediately, and he was the absolute opposite 9F everything he heard. He also stated that Brandon was after justice and equality, irrespective of who was involved. Depp also recalled that during an interview at ASU Gamage in 2016, he spoke with Brandon for 3 hours on a phone call, and when he returned to Los Angeles the following week, Brandon invited him for dinner, and it sparked a connection at different levels. This friendship grew so much that Depp was comfortable enough to make jokes about bodily functions around him. Brando died of respiratory failure from pulmonary fibrosis and congestive heart failure at the Ronald Reagan Medical Center on July 1st, 2004. Over the years, Johnny Depp has earned a good reputation among his fans, as well as his co-stars. So much so that these co-stars want to always be in a movie with him. Nevertheless, he has his favorites, and these are his top 7 favorites. Hit like and subscribe for more.